Not everyone understands this about human behavior. Hi, I'm Dr. Megan, and I guide people in growing, learning, and fostering connection and curiosity. I was having a conversation with someone where we were talking about skill deficits and a child specifically just not doing something. And it was really interesting to me, the two different perspectives that were being shared. The person I was talking to was saying the child just wasn't following directions and wasn't listening and basically being disrespectful by not doing what they were told to do. Of course, the contextual behavior analyst in me was like, well, I don't think it's as simple as that. And then I started thinking about how many people probably don't realize that the problem we seek to solve is typically not the problem that needs to be solving, that are simple explanations of why a child or human would be doing something is likely not as simple as we want it to be. There's the directly observable piece of seeing what's happening. Yes, the child did not follow the instruction, but that doesn't tell us why. If we say things like they're being disrespectful, they just want to do their own thing, and we add meaning to what we're observing simply based off of our own interpretation of it, that's usually not going to cover what's actually going on. However, it seems that many parents, teachers, even behavior analysts have a tendency to do that. We ascribe our own meaning to why something is happening instead of doing a more comprehensive analysis of it. And sure, some people might say, well, I don't care why it's happening. The person just needs to follow the instruction. But that doesn't necessarily build skills for people, and it typically doesn't create low stress environments either. There's a lot of different things we could look at when we're trying to explain why something isn't happening. However, I have found that there's typically 6 different things that contribute from a contextual standpoint. I'll talk about each of these in more detail in the future, but I'll tell you what the 6 things are now. 1 is connected relationships. How connected and trusting of a relationship do you have with the person that you're giving the instruction to? Number 2 is emotional regulation. How well does the person regulate their emotions? Going back into that social emotional learning, that's so important. And how regulated are they when you're giving the instruction? The next one is the big 4, which are skills that were identified by Eli Rosales et al. In 2018 in a behavior analysis and practice article. It's communication, gaining attention and affection, leisure, and navigating and tolerating and accommodating adversity. Number 4 is executive functioning skills. Oftentimes when instructions aren't being followed, there are executive functioning skills that are not well developed, that need to be developed more. Number 5 is when I finally get to function from the traditional behavior analytical sense, like looking at stimulus, response, consequence, what's happening before, during, and after, and how is that contributing to instruction following. So for example, if the child is frequently presented with instructions and never expected to follow the instruction, sure, they likely won't follow the instruction then, but I don't get to that point until I've looked at those other 4 things. And number 6 is environmental supports. That can really go with each of the different areas I talked about, but how supportive is the environment in having the instruction be followed? Maybe there's visual prompts or other things that could be present in the environment that make it lower stress and make it more likely that an instruction would be followed. So I wish it was as simple as they should just follow the instruction, but it's typically not as easy as that. And every once in a while, if you encounter adults or children who do blindly follow instructions, there's typically inner struggles going on and things that they're covering up to appease the people around them while they're struggling. And I don't think that's the kind of environment or world we want to create either. As I mentioned, I'll talk about each of these in more detail in future videos, so please give me a follow if you'd like to learn more.